Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. Okay guys, so how are you today? Okay, so for today's lesson, our topic is about coordination and response. Okay, so before we want to study about this topic, you should be familiar with a few terms. Okay, so for the first one, you should know what does stimulus mean. Okay, stimulus is any change, okay, in the environment that makes an organism respond. Okay, so I give you example. For example, when you feel normal, suddenly when you go outside, you feel hot. Why? Because the outside you have sunlight, right? So we can say that the change in the temperature is known as a stimulus. Why? Why stimulus? Because for sure you will make a response. Okay, what is your response? Basically, when you feel hot, you will bring umbrella or you want to find a shady area so that you don't feel hot anymore. Okay, so there are two types of stimulus. Okay, I want to tell you stimulus and stimuli are the same thing. Okay, it is just a matter of singular and plural. Okay, so there are two types of stimulus. The first one is external stimulus, okay, which happen outside the body. So these are the example. Okay, light, sound, taste, and also temperature. Okay, pressure and touch. Okay, and the next one is internal stimuli where it happen inside our body. Okay, for example, sugar level, body temperature, osmotic pressure, and so on. Okay, the next one is response. Okay, so basically once you have response, once you have stimuli, for sure you will produce a response. So response is a reaction of body towards stimuli or stimulus. Okay, let's go to the next one. So how organism respond to stimuli? So basically guys, okay, so you look at this pathway. So we begin with stimulus and we end with the response. So along the way, there are a few things that you should know. Okay, so from stimulus, it go to receptor. And then from receptor to the integrating center, and then to the effector, and the last one is response. Okay, if you notice here, there is a neuron. Okay, so there are two neuron, afferent neuron and efferent neuron. Okay, what are they? So we will discuss after this. Okay, so we go for receptor first. Okay, so what does receptor mean? So receptor, the function is to detect the stimuli and trigger nerve impulse. Okay, so for example, stimulus here is temperature. So the receptor that will detect the temperature, the name is thermoreceptor. You get it? Okay. So other than that, other than thermoreceptor, there are also the other example of receptor. So different receptor will detect different stimulus. Okay. Okay, the next one. Okay, afferent neuron. So afferent neuron, you can find in between receptor and integrating center. So what does afferent neuron means? Okay, afferent neuron, the function is to carry nerve impulse, okay, from receptor to the integrating center. Okay, I give you example. For example, stimulus is change in temperature. So for thermoreceptor, it will detect the stimulus and then the receptor will produce nerve impulse. Ni nerve impulse. Okay, receptor tu dia akan detect stimulus. So lepas dia detect stimulus, it will produce ataupun trigger nerve impulse. So nerve impulse tu will be sent, okay, from receptor to the integrating center using afferent neuron. Using afferent neuron. So bila nerve impulse reach to the integrating center, what will happen? Ni awak tengok ni. So what will happen is that it will interpret the information and send out another nerve impulse. Okay, here the example of integrating center ada dua, which are brain or spinal cord. Dua sahaja. So basically brain atau spinal cord dia akan interpret information. For example, right now stimulus ni dia detect temperature, right? So dia akan maksudnya our brain will interpret ini ni suhu sejuk ke suhu panas. Okay, so what will happen is that the integrating center it will interpret information and send another impulse, okay, to the effector using efferent neuron. Bezanya adalah A and E sahaja. Okay, so once the information is interpreted, integrating center ni iaitu brain ataupun spinal cord, it will produce another nerve impulse, and this nerve impulse will be sent to the effector using efferent neuron. So effector ni apa? Tengok. Ni efferent kan, carry nerve impulse from brain to effector ataupun from spinal cord to the effector, sama sajalah. So the last one is effector. So effector ni apa? Effector is the one that will produce the response. Kan kita kan nak hasilkan respon kan. So effector ni adalah is the one that will produce the response. So usually the example of effector is muscle and also glands. Sebab apa muscle? Sebab muscle ni when it contract and relax, it enable us to move. So respon kita apa? Respon kita adalah move lah, pergi ke tempat yang teduh sebagai contoh. Pergi ambil payung sebagai contoh. So effector basically muscle. Gland ni is something else. Okay. The next one. I give you one example. For example, kita punya example adalah searching the light. Okay, so what will happen? Okay, pertama sekali stimulus kita apa? Our stimulus is light from the candle. Okay, so when you see a candle, you will see the light, right? So we can say the light is the stimulus. And then what will happen? Receptor awak tu, okay, specifically photoreceptor in the retina of the eyes. Okay, so for your information, photoreceptor ni dia ada dekat retina of our eyes. Okay, so what will happen? So receptor tu dia akan detect stimuli. Okay, bila dia detect stimuli, dia akan hasilkan nerve impulse. So nerve impulse tu akan dihantar ke integrating center using apa? Using efferent neuron. Dia tak keluar pula dah. Sekat sini sepatutnya ada efferent neuron. Efferent neuron. Boleh faham? So bila efferent neuron bawa nerve impulse daripada receptor kepada brain, okay, brain ni dia akan process information. And then once it is done, brain ni akan menghasilkan another nerve impulse to be sent to the effector using efferent neuron. So bila sampai kat muscle, the muscle will do the response, which is move towards the light. Because I said just now, muscle enable us to move. So we move to where? We move towards the candle. Okay. Yang tadi contoh searching of the light. Ini contoh lain. Cikgu cakap temperature. Sebagai contoh, bila awak berjogging, for sure your body temperature increase. So is it normal? No. So macam mana? Cikgu buka ni kejap. Okay, stimulus kita apa? Stimulus kita adalah the change in body temperature. So when you do exercise, okay, this will increase your body temperature. So this one will be detected by siapa ni? Temperature sensitive. Ni cikgu buka semua dulu lah. Okay, jap. Okay, so this receptor, it will detect the stimulus. So what will happen is that this receptor will send nerve impulse to the brain using what? Using efferent neuron. So when the brain, hypothalamus ni is a part of brain. Nanti kita belajar sekejap lagi. Okay, so the brain will process the information and then the brain will send another impulse to the effector using efferent neuron. So effector ni contohnya ada banyak lah kat sini. Ada smooth muscle, ada sweat gland. Okay, so bila contohlah bila nerve impulse tu sampai kat sweat gland, the sweat gland will produce sweat. Sebab tu dia berpeluh. And then adrenal gland, thyroid gland, ni kita baca in detail sekejap lagi lah. So responnya adalah this activity ni dia akan menyebabkan kita banyak hilang heat energy through the blood vessel. Okay, so eventually we will have a normal blood temperature once again. Okay, the next one. Okay, the role of human nervous system. Okay, so human nervous system ni terbahagi, okay, is divided by two. The first one is central nervous system. The example is brain and spinal cord. Okay, yang kedua peripheral nervous system, divide by two, also spinal nerve and cranial nerve. So how can you imagine this? So this is the picture. Okay, ingat central nervous system CNS. Okay, peripheral nervous system PNS. Okay, kalau CNS contohnya dua sahaja, spinal cord and also brain. But for peripheral PNS, contohnya dua juga, cranial nerve and spinal nerve. Okay, apa beza spinal nerve dengan cranial nerve? Kalau cranial nerve is a branch from the brain. Ni selalu ni kat bahagian gigi, dekat rongga hidung dan sebagainya. Tapi kalau spinal nerve, okay, if you notice, it is a branch from spinal cord. Okay, ini brain, ini spinal cord kan. Lepas tu kalau spinal nerve ni is a branching left and right. Ni. And then this nerve, okay, will go to the arms, to the leg, and so on. Okay, kalau mudah je nak ingat, awak ingat central nervous system ni kat tengah-tengah. Kat tengah-tengah, iaitu brain kat tengah kan, spinal cord pun kat tengah. Tapi kalau PNS ni dia kat tepi. Ni cranial nerve kat tepi ni. Lepas tu kalau spinal nerve ada kiri dan kanan. Okay. Okay, the first one we go to the brain. Okay, sebab kita tahu kita nak fokus kepada central nervous system dulu. The first one brain, lepas tu kita pergi kepada spinal cord. Okay, so the first one brain. Okay, so brain ni cikgu buka sekejap. Okay, brain has 5 parts. Okay, ada 5 parts. The first one is cerebrum. Mana cerebrum? Cerebrum ni yang ni. Yang besar sekali ni. Okay, the besar one ni nama dia cerebrum. And then we have cerebellum. Cerebellum yang kat bawah ni. Okay, yang ni cerebrum. Lepas ni cerebellum. Lepas tu kita ada medulla oblongata. Ni. Medulla oblongata ni yang ni. Ni awak tengok ni. This is medulla oblongata. And then we have thalamus. Thalamus ni atas ni. Ni yang warna darker sikit ni nama dia thalamus. Yang kat luar ni nama dia medulla oblongata. And the last one hypothalamus. Hypothalamus ni ni yang kecil ni. Okay, so remember our brain are divided into 5 parts. Okay, dia besar ni cerebrum, lepas tu cerebellum, and then medulla oblongata, and then we have thalamus, and the last one hypothalamus. Yang ni. Okay, I want to share with you something. Okay, hypothalamus ni dia ada branch sikit. Dia ada branch yang mana yang kecil ni nama dia pituitary gland. Okay, pituitary gland we will discuss in detail on the next slide. Okay, lepas ni kita akan belajar. Okay, lepas tu ini spinal cord lah. Spinal cord kita belajar tadi kan, ni spinal cord. Okay, let's go one by one. Okay, kita pergi pada cerebellum dulu. Ni yang paling besar ni. So what happen? Tengok ni cikgu bagi besar dulu. Okay, so it is the largest region. Okay, it is the largest region and then it is highly folded. Dia berlipat-lipat. Lepas tu kita ada dua parts. Okay, ni kiri dan juga kanan. So kalau right hemisphere, it will control activity on the left side. Contohlah kalau sini kanan, dia akan control activity badan kita sebelah kiri. And then this is a left hemisphere, vice versa lah. Okay, what is the function? Interpret the information from receptor. Tadi kita belajar kan receptor, dia akan hantar nerve impulse to the brain using afferent neuron. So this is the place where the interpretation will happen. And then control voluntary activity. Okay, voluntary activity itu maksudnya activity that you are conscious, awak aware, you are aware that you are doing the activity. For example, you are reading the books. Bila awak baca buku, for sure you are aware that you are reading the book. For example walking. Bila berjalan awak boleh stop kan, sebab apa? Awak boleh berfikir. Okay, that is mean by voluntary action. It's mean that the activity that under your conscious. Okay, carry out complex process such as learning and speech. Ni kat sini. Okay. Okay, the next one cerebellum. Ni yang kecil ni. So cerebellum, okay, it is the second largest. Macam tadi, cerebrum is the largest. Kalau cerebellum second largest. So apa fungsi dia? Sorry. Ada dua saja, which are maintain body coordination. That's why you can walk in balance. Okay, so this is maintained by cerebrum. And then control muscle activity, especially for body balance and position. Okay. Okay, the next one is medulla oblongata. Mana? Ni medulla oblongata. So apa fungsi dia? Regulating heartbeat and breathing rate. Okay, and then responsible when people are vomiting, coughing, seizing and swallowing. Okay, yang ni cikgu rasa fakta yang kena tahulah. Okay, the next one, thalamus. Mana thalamus? Ni thalamus ni yang dalam ni. Apa fungsi dia? Okay, the place where the nerve impulse is passed to the cerebrum for interpretation. Okay, as I said, receptor kan, any kind of receptor, it will send nerve impulse to the brain, specifically dekat cerebrum. Tapi before cerebrum, it will, it will pass through thalamus first. Ni awak tengok ni. The place where nerve impulse is passed to cerebrum for interpretation. So bila nerve impulse datang masuk ke otak, dia pergi kat thalamus dulu, and then baru cerebrum. Okay. And then hypothalamus. Mana hypothalamus? Ni hypothalamus ni. Okay, apa fungsi dia? Maintains homeostasis, which is our internal body and environment. For example, blood glucose. Okay, so ini kita bincang nantilah. And then it helps, okay, the endocrine system. Okay, for those who don't know, endocrine system is a human system that enable us to produce any hormone. Kita tahu kan manusia have hormone, right? So the system that enable us to produce hormone is called endocrine system. Ini pun kita akan belajar in detail nanti. Macam saya cerita tadi, pituitary gland, right? Pituitary gland is a branch from the hypothalamus. So apa fungsi dia? It's a gland that is located below hypothalamus. It consists of anterior lobes and posterior lobe. Ni awak tengok. Keluar pula. Ni contohnya lagi, susah lah sikit nak lukis. Dia macam ni tau. Apa maksud anterior lobe and posterior lobe? Maksudnya dia ada kiri dan kanan. Kiri dan juga kanan. So sebelah kanan dia nama dia anterior lobe. Okay, fungsi dia untuk produce and secrete hormone. Okay, and then posterior lobe fungsi dia untuk store hormone. Okay, before it is released, it will be stored in the posterior lobe lah. Lepas tu, when it is needed to be released, then posterior lobe akan release lah hormone tu. Okay. Okay, now we done with the brain. The next one is spinal cord. Okay, ni awak tengok spinal cord kita ni yang tengah ni. This is what we call our spinal cord. Okay, apa ni? The link between the brain and peripheral nervous system. Ni peripheral nervous system kiri dan kanan kan? Okay, and it is located in the vertebral column. Okay, vertebral column ni maksudnya tulang belakang. Okay, this is our backbone. Cuba awak pegang tulang belakang awak tu. Sebenarnya inside, okay, in the middle of your in the middle of your backbone, there is a spinal cord. Okay, ini contohnya kita punya spinal cord bila cikgu buat cross section. Okay, ini kita punya backbone lah. So inside it there is a spinal cord. So maksudnya location ni spinal cord ni yang panjang ni, it is located in our backbone, tulang belakang kita. Okay, vertebral column tu backbone lah. This is the structure of spinal cord. So if I make a cross section, bila cikgu potong nervous system ni, so this is how it looks like. Boleh faham? So if you notice, okay, kita tengok satu-satu apa fungsi dia. Okay, pertama sekali grey matter. Mana grey matter ni? Ni yang kat tengah ni. Grey matter. So fungsi dia contain neuron. Okay, neuron ni is neuron ni maksudnya adalah sel nerve ataupun nerve cell lah. Sel saraf. Okay, Neuron ni nama lain dia adalah sel saraf. Okey, white matter. Mana white matter? Ni. Ni white matter. Yang ni grey matter, ni white matter. Ni semua ni white matter lah ni. Lepas tu, okay, fungsi dia sama juga, contain neuron. Okey, contain neuron. Lepas ni kita akan belajar secara detail. Neuron tu apa, cikgu? Lepas tu dia ada apa? Dia ada central canal. Mana central canal? Ni yang tengah ni central canal. It is a center of spinal cord. Okey, kat tengah-tengah ni a center of spinal cord. Lepas tu dia ada dorsal root ganglion. Ni dorsal root ganglion yang kembang ni. Okey. Lepas tu dia ada dorsal root. Ni dorsal root. Lepas tu ada ventral root. Yang kat bawah ni ventral root. And the last one spinal nerve. Ingat kita tak spinal nerve tu? Ni spinal nerve ni. Ni kiri kanan. Ni spinal nerve. Kiri dan juga kanan. Ni spinal nerve ni. Sini pun spinal nerve juga. Okey, so apa fungsi dia? Sama juga, contain neuron, iaitu nerve cell. Ni kita baca detail sekejap lagi. Okey. Ni nak cikgu cerita sikit, neuron ataupun nerve cell. Apa maksud dia, cikgu? Apa fungsi dia? Transmit nerve impulse from receptor to the brain or from brain spinal cord to the effector. So fungsi neuron ni ada dua. Okey, cikgu sambaskan balik. The function of neuron ni ada dua. To transmit impulse from receptor to the brain. Itu yang pertama. Yang kedua, transmit nerve impulse from spinal cord ataupun brain to the effector. Boleh faham? So this is how the general looks like. Okay, the general look of neuron. Okay, so one perfect neuron dia akan ada ni body cell. Semua ni body cell. Lepas tu yang panjang ni, okay, nama dia axon. Lepas tu ni yang ada tepi-tepi kiri dan kanan ni, nama dia myelin sheath. Okay, and then yang berakar-akar ni, awak tengok ni yang berakar-akar ni, nama dia dendrite. Okay, dendrite. Okay, so a structure of neuron consists of, semua ni lah ada 4 ni. Okay, this is the general one. Okay, so awak kena tahu neuron ni ada 3 jenis. Kita ada afferent neuron. Tadi kita belajar kan afferent neuron kan? Kita ada efferent neuron. Kita ada interneuron. Okay. Bear in mind there are 3 types of neuron exist. Okay, afferent neuron ni nama lain dia adalah sensory neuron. Okay, and effector nama lain dia adalah motor neuron, and interneuron nama lain adalah relay neuron. So you can use either one lah. Okay, kita pergi pada afferent neuron dulu. Kalau afferent neuron fungsi dia carry nerve impulse from receptor to the brain or spinal cord. Okay, so fungsi dia adalah to carry nerve impulse daripada receptor kepada brain atau spinal cord. Okay, lepas tu afferent apa fungsi dia? Fungsi dia adalah to carry nerve impulse from brain or spinal cord to the effector. Faham tak? Okay, lepas tu interneuron ni ada kat mana? Interneuron ni usually, okay, bear in mind kat sini tak tulis pula. Interneuron ni awak akan jumpa dekat mana? Awak akan jumpa inside the brain dan juga inside spinal cord. Okay, so interneuron ataupun relay neuron ni, location dia you can find in the spinal cord ataupun in the brain. Nanti cikgu tunjuk dia punya bukti. Okay, apa fungsi inter ataupun relay neuron ni? Transmit nerve impulse between afferent neuron and efferent neuron. So contohlah ini adalah afferent neuron. Tengah-tengah dia ni interneuron. Lepas tu barulah ada efferent neuron. Kan cikgu cakap kan, tengah-tengah ni brain kan. Dalam brain tu ataupun spinal cord tu lah ada interneuron. Kita tengok. Ni macam mana rupa dia. Kalau afferent, okay, cikgu macam mana saya nak recognize. Okay, kalau afferent neuron, awak tengok cell body dia. Cell body dia berada kat tengah-tengah. Cell body dia berada kat tengah-tengah dan dia tak ada dendrite. Dendrite kan tadi cikgu cerita kan, dendrite kan. Okay, lepas tu ni ada axon, ada myelin sheath semua ni kan. Okay, ni. Okay, ini adalah afferent neuron. Tapi kalau efferent neuron, dia punya cell body berada kat tepi. Tak kisahlah kiri ke kanan. Berada kat paling tepi. Dan dia ada dendrite. Boleh faham? Ini axon, lepas tu ada myelin sheath. Okay, itu beza yang pertama. Afferent dengan efferent. Kalau interneuron, dia memang betul-betul kat tengah. Okay, dia betul-betul dekat tengah. Cell body kat tengah. Dendrite pun memanjang macam ni. Axon pun macam ni. Okay, so this is how you can differentiate between these 3 neuron. Ini comparison dia in terms of structure. Okay, yang this one cikgu rasa boleh baca sendiri. Okay, siapa yang nak copy is okay. You can pause the video and you copy the information. Okay, sama saja macam cikgu cerita tadi. Okay, impulse, nerve impulse benda yang sama. So yang ni dia tulis impulse kan. But if you want to put nerve impulse, it's the same thing lah. Okay. Okay, the next one I want to teach you about transmission of synapse. Cikgu, synapse ni apa pula cikgu? Okay, synapse. Okay, ni gambar dia dulu lah, cikgu tunjuk dulu lah. Okay, cikgu tunjuk sekejap. So synapse ni apa cikgu? Synapse tu adalah, okay, cikgu bagi dia punya, ni definition dia. Okay, synapse is a site where two neuron meet. Okay, macam tadi cikgu cerita, kita ada 3 neuron, betul tak? Kita ada 3 neuron. Kita ada afferent, kita ada inter, kita ada efferent neuron. Macam tadi cikgu cerita, mula-mula afferent neuron, dia akan jumpa interneuron. Lepas interneuron, dia akan jumpa efferent neuron. So kat tengah-tengah dia tu, nama dia adalah synapse. Okay, for example, ini. This is, okay, for example, ini adalah efferent neuron. Yang ni adalah interneuron. So kat tengah-tengah ni, nama dia adalah synapse. Sebab tu cakap, synapse is the site where two neuron meet. Example, efferent and interneuron. Ni efferent, interneuron. Lepas tu apa contoh lagi? Interneuron dengan efferent neuron. Kalau contohlah ini interneuron, yang ini akan jadi efferent neuron. Boleh faham? Okay, so cikgu nak ajar in detail what happened in the synapse. Okay, before that you should know lah the structure. Okay, yang tengah-tengah ni nama dia synapse. Okay, so this is the end of the efferent neuron. Okay, so this is the beginning of interneuron. Okay, so at the end of efferent neuron, you can see there are a lot of mitochondria. Apa fungsi mitochondria? Mitochondria to supply energy. Okay, and then at the same time, there is a synaptic vesicle. Vesicle tu adalah suatu gumpalan lah yang mempunyai neurotransmitter. Apa fungsi dia nanti kita belajar. Okay, so kena structure dulu. Okay, kita ada kita ada mitochondria, kita ada synaptic vesicle. Okay, buat nota sikit. Synaptic vesicle ni dia ada chemical. Chemical tu nama dia neurotransmitter. Neurotransmitter. Nanti kat the next slide akan ada perkataan neurotransmitter tu. Okay, lepas tu aku kena tahu ni membrane ni. Membrane tu maksudnya dia punya lapisan lah. So lapisan pertama nama dia adalah pre-synaptic membrane. Lapisan kedua post-synaptic membrane. Kat tengah-tengah ni synapse, specifically kita namakan dia sebagai synaptic cleft. Okay, synaptic cleft. Ruang yang ada kat sini namanya synaptic cleft. Okay, lepas tu post-synaptic membrane ni, there is a something called receptor. Apa fungsi receptor tu cikgu? Lepas ni kita akan belajar. Okay, just now I already taught you about the structure in the synapse lah. Ni dia punya proses apa yang terjadi. Okay, so pertama sekali impulse tu ataupun electric impulse. Okay, awak nak guna perkataan electrical impulse ataupun nerve impulse boleh saja. So impulse reach to the presynaptic membrane. Tengok ni. Okay, kan ni kan efferent neuron kan. Efferent neuron ni dia akan bawa electrical impulse ataupun nerve impulse. So it reach to the presynaptic membrane. Ni dia cakap presynaptic membrane ni. So apa yang terjadi? This trigger synaptic vesicle to release neurotransmitter to the synaptic cleft. Awak tengok ni balik. Okay, so bila electrical impulse ataupun nerve impulse tu sampai dekat presynaptic membrane, dia akan menyebabkan synaptic vesicle tu go down. Dia pergi ke bawah untuk apa? Untuk release neurotransmitter dekat synaptic cleft. So how can synaptic vesicle get the energy to go down? This is provided by mitochondria. So mitochondria ni dia akan supply energy to the synaptic cleft to go down so that this synaptic cleft release neurotransmitter to the synaptic cleft. Balik. So neurotransmitter diffuse across synaptic cleft and bind with the receptor and attach to the postsynaptic membrane. Ni awak tengok ni. So bila neurotransmitter is released from synaptic vesicle in the synaptic cleft, neurotransmitter tu it will diffuse. Diffuse tu bergeraklah. Pergi ke mana? Pergi dekat receptor yang ada dekat postsynaptic membrane. Okay. So bila benda tu jadi apa tadi? This lead to the generation of new electrical signal to the next neuron, and the mechanism of transmission across synapse involve chemical to the electrical impulse. Ni saya guna tengok balik ni. Okay, so bila neurotransmitter tu bind with the receptor, this will produce another nerve impulse. So nerve impulse tu will be sent to the interneuron. Faham tak? Okay. Lepas tu dia cakap tadi kan. Ni awak tengok ni. Mana dah? Ni. Mechanism of transmission across synaptic involve chemical to the electrical impulse. Sebab apa chemical? Chemical macam cikgu cakap tadi, dia adalah neurotransmitter. So dia guna neurotransmitter tiba-tiba dapat electrical impulse. Sebab apa? When the neurotransmitter bind to the receptor, it can generate electrical impulse ataupun nerve impulse. So kita tengok ada conversion between chemical itu electrical electrical impulse. Boleh faham? So if you want to copy this note, you can pause the video and you copy this one. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay, wait. Just share. Okay guys, so let's continue. Okay, let me share this one. Okay, the next one, okay, in term of response, okay, cikgu nak cerita sikit lah. Respon ni ada dua jenis, voluntary and involuntary. So voluntary is an action under your control, okay, and then it is governed by our brain. Example dia walking. Kenapa? Sebab awak boleh control. For example, bila awak berjalan, tiba-tiba awak rasa nak berlari, awak berlari. Tiba-tiba awak rasa nak stop. Sebab why? So it is under your control. But kalau involuntary, it is action out of our control and it is governed by our spinal cord. Our spinal cord kan, tadi kan saya cakap kan, brain and also spinal cord kan. Lepas tu dia ada dua contoh. Okay. Pertama sekali contoh dia adalah knee jerking. Yang ni involve 2 neuron. Tadi kita belajar ada 3 neuron, betul tak? Kita ada afferent, interneuron dengan efferent neuron. Tapi kalau involuntary ni dia special. Ada 2 neuron saja yang terlibat. Nanti kita akan bincang. Okay, and then it also can involve 3 neuron. Okay, contoh dia adalah touching hot object. Okay, yang ni kita nak belajar sikit. All these things is under under involuntary response. Okay, so here is the similarity and differences between these two action lah. Action and response benda sama je. So kalau similarity dia involve action involving stimulation, impulse, neuron and effector organ. Okay, kalau differences dia boleh baca sendirilah. Ni action dia conscious, yang ni action occur automatically and occur without us being conscious. Maksudnya kita aware pun benda tu berlaku. Lepas tu involve somatic nervous system, yang ni involve autonomous system. Okay, kalau somatic nervous system tu maksudnya nervous system that happen in our body. In our physical body, Kalau autonomous nervous system ni is something that inside the body, yang ni outside the body. For example, like walking or whatever. Kalau autonomous ni something that you cannot see. For example, the contraction of heart. Awak nampak tak? Tak nampak kan? Okay, dan sebagainya lah. Okay, ini control by cerebral cortex. So cerebral cortex tu is also known as a cerebrum lah, yang paling besar tu kan. Ni control by medulla oblongata ataupun hypothalamus. Okay, and then ni contoh-contoh dia lah. Okay, involves skeletal muscle, involves smooth muscle, glands, and so on. Okay. Okay, let's go to kenapa tak bunyi ni? Ni okay. So the next one is okay, kita nak bincang sikit pasal voluntary action ni. Okay, so pertama sekali stimulus occur when the teacher ask the question to the pupil. Okay, lepas tu apa jadi? The pupil receptor receive stimuli and transmit nerve impulse to the cerebrum through the sensory neuron. Sensory neuron nama lain dia adalah afferent neuron. Ni afferent neuron ni ataupun sensory neuron. Dia akan hantar nerve impulse kepada brain. So cerebrum, cerebrum kan yang interpret kan? Interpret nerve impulse to be sent to the effector. So bila sampai dekat otak, otak akan interpret dan akan hantar another nerve impulse to the effector using motor neuron ataupun efferent neuron. Ni dalam ni ada apa? Ada relay neuron. Relay neuron kita cakap interneuron kan. So apa jadi? Effector tu dia akan receive information, the pupil raise hand, okay, to answer the question. So this is the response. Yang ni you can read yourself lah. It's very easy. Okay, kita pergi pada involuntary action. Okay, macam tadi cikgu cerita ada dua jenis kan. Tengok ni. Okay, ada melibatkan 2 neuron, ada melibatkan 3 neuron. Okay, kita bincang dulu 3 neuron ni. Okay, apa aku ni? Ni awak tengok ni. Okay, okay, involuntary response is also known as a refraction. Okay, refraction nama lain bagi involuntary response lah. So ada dua contoh. Okay, kita pergi kepada touching hot object dulu. Okay, it's governed by spinal cord. It produce an immediate response. Okay, for example, touching object. Pernah tak awak when you, okay, contohlah awak terpegang ceret panas. For sure, you will directly, withdraw your hand without thinking. Kau fikir dulu, nak lepaskan ke tak? Mestilah awak terus buang kan? Ni lah panggil reflection. Okay, they involve 3 neuron here. Maksudnya, it involve efferent dan juga interneuron. Dia melibatkan semua. Ni contoh dia. Okay, for example, you touch hot object. So what will happen? Ni cikgu cerita kat sini je lah. Okay, so tengok sini, this is hot object. So dekat pinggir kita ada thermoreceptor. So what will happen? Okay, so when you touch a hot object, thermoreceptor will detect the stimulus. So and then the thermoreceptor will produce nerve impulse, and this nerve impulse will be sent to the spinal cord. To the spinal cord using afferent neuron. Ni warna hijau ni. Afferent neuron. Lepas tu, okay, once it reach to the spinal cord, okay, the nerve impulse will be sent to the interneuron. Interneuron pun terima nerve impulse daripada afferent neuron, and then dia akan produce another nerve impulse and send to the efferent neuron yang warna biru ni, and then this impulse will be sent to the muscle using efferent neuron. So bila effector tu terima nerve impulse, okay, so this enable us to withdraw our hands. Sebab apa? Muscle ni akan contract and relax. So it's enable us to withdraw our hand. Okay, boleh faham? And then awak perasan kan, ni spinal cord kan. Kenapa dia tak pergi kat brain? Sebab bila awak withdraw your hand, were you thinking? No. Awak tak berfikir kan, sebab apa? Awak punya impulse tu hantar dekat spinal cord. Spinal cord ni dia tak interpret pun. Dia just bagi respon saja. So that's why you can withdraw your hand quickly. Why? Because it is painful, right? When you touch a hot object. Ni mekanisme yang cikgu cerita tadi. If you want to copy, you can pause the video and you can copy this one. Okay, the same thing that I taught you just now. Okay, awak boleh pause, awak boleh salin. Exactly the same what I taught you just now. Okay. Okay, contoh yang kedua, dia melibatkan 2 neuron. Tadi 3 neuron kan? Afferent, efferent dan juga interneuron. Tapi yang ni melibatkan 2 neuron saja, which are afferent neuron dengan efferent neuron saja. Interneuron tidak mainkan peranan. But location is still the same, which is in our spinal cord. Okay, contoh dia knee jerking. Awak jangan ketuk pula lutut awak tu. Ni contoh lain ya. Asal pula awak ni cedera jangan ambil tukul ke apa So ini kita nak belajar ni. Okay, so aku tengok kat sini Okay, when for example, when you bila awak bila awak ketuk awak punya ni guna hammer, so what will happen is that ni awak tengok ni. Receptor, sensory receptor. Okay, dia akan hantar nerve impulse kepada spinal cord using afferent neuron. And then if you notice, inside the spinal cord, there is no interneuron. Lepas tu dia akan connect terus kepada efferent neuron. Okay, and then efferent neuron akan hantar nerve impulse kepada muscle, so that the muscle will contract, so that our kaki kita ni akan jerk off ke depan without thinking. Dia terus akan ke hadapan. Okay, kalau perasan dia akan guna afferent and efferent neuron. Kenapa kat sini kena guna dua saja? Okay, so sebab apa? To produce fastest response. Sebab awak bayangkan, contohlah kalau ada interneuron kat sini kan, awak tak rasa ke it will take the response to be produced longer. So maksudnya, awak bayangkan, mula-mula nak pergi kat reseptor pergi kat afferent, lepas tu kena pergi kat interneuron, lepas tu kena pergi kat efferent, lepas tu kena pergi kat effector. And then here, you notice that they skip interneuron. Bila dia skip interneuron, maksudnya adalah the response can be produced faster. Okay, boleh faham? Ni pun sama, cikgu dah buat summarize about how it happened. If you want to copy this, please stop the video and copy yourself. Okay, and this process does not involve interneuron. Ni cikgu cerita tadi. Okay, the same thing I taught you just now. So you can copy this one. Okay. Okay, the last one of today. Finally, thanks God. Okay, so the effect of drugs and alcohol on human nervous system. Sebab itulah tak boleh minum dadah, tak boleh makan dadah dan tak boleh minum arak berdosa. Okay, so this is the example of drugs and also alcohol. So this is the effect. Okay, and this one cikgu rasa you can read by yourself. Please copy this information. Okay, so yang ni cikgu rasa is very straightforward information, you can read on yourself. Okay guys, so I think that's all for today. So make sure you guys watch until the end and write down your name and class on the section comment, on the comment section for attendance. Okay, so those who don't understand, you can PM me to, if you have any problem or whatever, okay, PM me through Telegram, okay? So that's all for today. So I see you on the next class. Okay, Assalamualaikum.